hang on. So today, for example, you and I might go from Sydney to Brisbane. You've made this point. You fill up the car with petrol, perhaps stop at Coffs Harbour for a coffee and a refill, and away you go. Now, a motorist seriously saying that they'll go to Brisbane in an electric vehicle, maximum range, 300 and a bit kilometres. Stop at a charging station where there's a queue. Now, even if we're only 5. Now, I understand the Tesla supercharger can give you 300 kilometres of charge in 15 minutes, but that's the best deal generally. Most of the charging times are an hour or more. So if you're a little teal out there that loves all this sort of stuff in the eastern suburbs, driving your Jaguar, and you want a 50 kilowatt charge, it'll take you an hour and 40 minutes. Pity the poor bugger standing in the queue behind you. And then if you want the Mercedes-Benz, well, hang on, an hour and 35 minutes. There's still 6 or 7 in the queue behind you. And it depends on what charge you want. So a Tesla Model 3, even if you want 120 kilowatts charge, that'll take you 45 minutes. So if there are 3 people in front of you and the battery's flat, Judith, what do? Hang around for 2 hours. No thanks. What?
You book a motel room. Look, I think the thing is that, a few stories have been allowed to creep out about, disastrous journeys with electric vehicles, including a very funny one in the Times, I would think, in the UK, because once the battery runs out entirely, it just stops. At which point you have to get towed, right? So there's no possibility like we used to do, going down and getting the jerry can and topping up the tank. And it's an expensive thing to have towed because it's so heavy, right? No, I think the practicalities and you see, it's the physics of the battery, because people say, oh, well, why don't we create fast charging batteries? The trouble at the moment is that the faster you charge a battery, the more rapid is the deterioration of the battery, right? That's the problem. So until they can kind of overcome the physics of the problem, the sort of idea of being able to charge up like your petrol car, which is, it's about, I reckon, I filled up my car the other day, I reckon it was about 2 or 3 minutes,
Amazing.
Go in and pay,
but
off you go,
I know, but this is all environmental, right? Everything is about the environment. So come back to the point you made about 10 minutes ago about the manufacture of these vehicles. Now, you and I have made this point 100 times. You say they're only of environmental benefit after they've been driven for 100,000 kilometres, because the manufacture, the manufacture of the electric vehicle is much more emission intensive than the manufacture of the normal car. I mean, you've made the point that electric vehicles require 6 times more mining than other vehicles. And then there's the battery problem, which we're not told about, the life of the batteries, the cost of replacing them. When are we going to get a bit of common sense into all of this?
The car manufacturers are very naughty about that, because they won't tell you what the cost of the battery replacement it is. And I mean, I think oftentimes at that point, the cost of replacing the battery is worth more than the whole car,